Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me. This is our NBA 2022-2023 season preview and predictions episode. We're gonna go through each of the awards that will be given out at the end of the year. We're gonna go through the conference team, conference by conference, and what order I'm predicting each team to go through. I'm going to give you my predictions of who I think we're going to meet in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and then in the NBA Finals. So make sure that you are sit back, relaxing, wherever you're doing, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to this on whatever podcast platform you desire. This should be a good thing because tonight, Tuesday, October 18th, is the start of the NBA season. It's going to be a good one. So actually, I think I will start with giving you the order in which I think the teams will finish. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. Start with the Philadelphia 76ers at 1. James Harden is back. Along with Embiid, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be a big upgrade this year. He's going to be more of a force to be reckoned with in 76ers. And then they picked up PJ Tucker from Miami. So I think the Philadelphia 76ers are going to be extremely good this year. I think they're going to be extremely dominant. And I'm expecting them to be number 1 in the Eastern Conference. Number 2 is the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Giannis and the crew are going to just be what they've always been, and that's just incredible. I think coming off of the injury in the playoffs, they're going to get back Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday's still there, and I think those three are going to keep it up and keep it up what they've been doing. And I think a lot of people still think that this is the Milwaukee's conference because as long as Giannis is in that conference, it's going to be tough to stop him. So we'll have to wait and see. But the Milwaukee Bucks at number 2, the Boston Celtics at 3. And I think even with all of the turmoil coming on from Ime Udoka's suspension for improper conduct with a employee, I think this team is still good. I don't think that's going to bring this team down a lot. They've added Malcolm Brogdon in an off season. We'll see what happens to him if he starts or if he comes off the bench. Either way, I think it's a good pickup for the Boston Celtics, and I think they're going to not let this affect them. I think they're going to end up with the 3rd seed. I have the Brooklyn Nets at 4. Obviously, we know what happened. They're going to get back Joe Harris, who missed a ton of last year with an injury. Ben Simmons is now going to be playing. He told Stephen A. Smith that he is ready for he is ready for this year, and he's going to come back, and he's speaking a lot more. And he's talking about, do you guys really think there's a video of him shooting an air ball in the record park, and he's saying, do you guys really think I'm going to shoot air balls all year round? So yeah, he's looking back, and I think he's going to be an interesting thing. I think their lineup is going to be very, very interesting to see how they play, and where does each one play, because that's a big lineup. That's a big lineup you're talking about here. In the front court, they're gonna. I'm not sure who their center is gonna be, but they're gonna have 6'11" Kevin Durant, and they're gonna have 6'10" Ben Simmons in the front court. Wow, that's gonna make up for the small backcourt that they're probably gonna have with like 6 foot Kyrie Irving and 6 foot somebody else probably. So you can see they lost Blake Griffin. He went to the Boston Celtics, as a backup. So, but I still think that there'll be something. This is not gonna be the team that it was where they was just a bunch of mess. But I don't think they're going to be the best team coming out of the East. But I have them Brooklyn Nets at 4, meaning they'll get home court advantage, in the first round of the playoffs, and they're going to be outside of that, playing game. On Cleveland Cavaliers at 5. They've made the trade for Donovan Mitchell, and they still have Darius Garland there, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. So this is a team that's young and athletic, and I know that sounds like typical NBA talk, but no, this is really true with them. Young, athletic, long, and so these guys I think are gonna make an absolute noise in the Eastern Conference, and that's why I have them as a 5th. But I would not be surprised even if they move up into the thing and they win the Central Division actually. Obviously, I got the Milwaukee Bucks doing that, but it wouldn't be a surprise to me if that actually did happen. So it's gonna be a really interesting one for the Cleveland Cavaliers. 6, I have the Miami Heat. You mentioned PJ Tucker earlier. He has been lost. Um, but Tyler Hero is back, and I think he's going to be starting this year, which I think is probably maybe a little bit better. You give him some more scoring. I think they're as Jimmy Butler, who's got a weird, wild haircut this year, and I don't know how long that's going to last. But he's coming back, and as they looking to uh, avenge their loss in the Eastern Conference Finals and looking to move on to back to the NBA Finals as they did a couple years ago during the bubble. So I think this team is still going to be tough. It's going to be a tough out. The Eastern Conference is no joke, and the Miami Heat, which is a very good team, is at 6. I have them at 6. You know that is going to be this. It's going to be fantastic to see what they do and see if they can actually move up in the rankings. But right now, I have them at 6. The Detroit Pistons, I have at 7. Now we're getting into the play-in teams, right? 7 plays 10, 8 plays 9. Um, and I have the Detroit Pistons at 7. I think this is a surprise team. I think Cade Cunningham is going to step into his own. They got the rookie Jaden Ivey, that they drafted this year. And I just think this is a team that is going to surprise and is going to, you know, be a thorn in the side of everyone in the Eastern Conference. Everyone, and I think they're going to still and win some games. And I think their youth is going to not. He's going to keep them from winning some games, but I think they're going to win enough games that they'll make it into the playoffs and make it into the play-in game. So that's going to be something to watch. Number 8, I have as the Atlanta Hawks. Um, they've got Deontay Murray, who they got from San Antonio. Trae Young is still Trae Young, and I think Trae Young, kind of had a down year last year, but I think he should have a better one this year. Get back on track, get someone running with him. And I also think that he gets someone to handle the ball handling. Now I know that Trae Young, he's a good scorer and assist guy, but maybe handling the ball to his mouth, he can do some running off screens and spot up for threes and things like that. I think it might help him get become more of an effective player, having Deontay Murray there to handle the balls. They still have Clint Capella in the middle. Believe they have. Uh, Still have John Collins there. They did not trade him. Let me quickly make a quick check and see. Um, uh, so yeah, I think I think they still got John Collins there, and they still have some other girls there. They lost Kevin Holter in the offseason, unfortunately, but I think if DeAndre Hunter can become as good of a player as everybody thought he could be a couple years ago when the Hawks made it to the East Conference Finals in 2021. I think that they'll be a-okay, and they'll be in the playing game, and maybe even can make the playoffs. 9 is my Chicago Bulls. I think they take a drop this year. Lonzo Ball missing at least he's going to miss some time because he's going to be out the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season, and it's not like he's going to come back after that. then they're going to reevaluate him and see what it is. So he could miss more time. He can maybe miss more of the season. Now they picked up Goran Dragic in the offseason to help out in the backcourt. There's also going to be the rookie from last year, Ayo Dosunmu. Is probably going to get more time. And they still have Kobe White there, one of their first round picks from years ago. But I think he's going to be more of a shooting guard coming off the bench. I would expect Alex Caruso maybe to start as well, either him or Goran Dragic at that point guard position. Zach LaVine is back, signing a multi-year contract. We got DeMar DeRozan. Can he have the year that he had last year? It's going to be tough to think about that as he's more of an older player. Um, that we'll see about that. Everybody thinks that this is about Pat Williams, and can Pat Williams, become can he start to elevate and try to hit his ceiling? A lot of people say that maybe he has a um, a Kawhi Leonard type of a game, and can he become that type of player? We're going to see. In my opinion, they should have traded him in the offseason. They should have got Christian Wood, and especially for what Dallas gave up for Christian Wood. They should have went up to Christian Wood, got a real power forward who can shoot from the outside, who can maybe guard some of the taller guys, because Patrick Williams is 6'7", is not going to guard Ben Simmons, is not going to guard Kevin Durant, is not going to guard uh, um, Giannis. He's not going to guard those guys. He's not going to slow them down. Christian Wood, who's 6'10", could at least slow him. He may not be able to guard him, but he can at least maybe slow him down. So I thought that was a bad one. They still maybe could do something because Indiana still has a couple of their guys there and could do Miles Turner. And if they don't go out to the Lakers, maybe you could trade Patrick Williams and get Miles Turner. But and they sent Andre Drummond to help as a backup center, help with the interior defense. Rudy Gobert maybe could have been another one they could have got, but it was too much for Minnesota. So too much for too many picks that Minnesota gave up for him. So, but I think the Chicago Bulls are going to drop this year. I think they're going to drop to 9, and they're going to be in that playoff game. And we'll have to see what happens there. See if they can get past the playoff game. So it's not a series; it's just a one-game shot. And they're in the bracket where they're in the bracket that I think they get they would have to face Snow, right? Because I think it's right. I hate this fucking playing. They got to stop this because you don't even know what it is. So 7 faces 10, 8 faces 9. So I think what happens is if Detroit beats the Pistons, right? Then they're in. So and then 8 will face 9, and if 8 can beat 9, then 8 faces off against 10 or something like that, or whatever. It's so stupid. It really is. I don't know why they have this playing thing. It's just, and then I got more to say about the goddamn tournaments that they're trying to do. Why are they trying to fuck up my basketball? Why are they trying to fuck up my NBA? Anyway, the Chicago Bulls are going to be in the playoff game in the 9th seed, according to me. 10, the Charlotte Hornets. Now they're going to start the season off with LaMelo Ball. He's going to be not available for them, but I think when he comes back, this should be a team that should be on its way up finally. Um, now this I think this should be the start of their way to maybe more than what you like to see. Gordon Hayward comes back, and he's gonna have some stuff. Cody Martin, um, he'll have to be one of the major players to help Charlotte this season. Um, they it's amazing that they hired back the coach Steve Clifford that they fired back in 2018. So I just don't know what's going on. Um, they got a lot of things going on. One of the guys just got arrested a couple of days ago on a DUI, which that sucks. And they've got Miles Bridges, he facing felony domestic violence charges. So it is just it's amazing. They signed Montrezl Harrell. He's in there, but so there's a lot of things that are going on. A lot of turmovers within this team, just like the Boston Celtics, maybe a little bit more worse as it comes to like the stuff with the domestic violence charges, things like that. So, but I think their talent should overcome that, and I think they should make it into the 10th spot um, as the playoff team for the Eastern Conference. For the 11th, I have the Toronto Raptors, and I think this is a tough one. I think I was trying to think who should be 10. Should it be the Hornets or the Raptors? I just picked the I just picked the Hornets because I think LaMelo Ball is a superstar in the making, and I thought that he would be more of the his play could elevate the Hornets and make him into that 10th spot. But listen, the Raptors still have a lot of their guys. They still have Scotty Barnes. They still have Fred Van Vliet. They still have those guys there. So this should be, I think, the Toronto Raptors could also maybe even step up and make it, and don't even be in the play-in. They could be in the actual playoffs, like in as high as a 6 seed. I think they can get as high as a 6 seed. Now, there's always going to be a lot of um, things that they are going to do. So, but one of the things that I think Toronto has is size. 14 players on their roster. 14 players on their roster, right? 9 of those are 6'7", 6'8", or 6'9". They have a lot of great size, right? But I think one of the things is maybe they don't have that definitive center. Because sometimes they like to play 6'8" Pascal Siakam. They like to play him in center, and that's just. And I hate that. I hate the small ball type of thing. Centers need to be 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet tall, those type of things. Playing somebody 6'8" at center, no matter how good they are, it's just dumb, and that's something that needs to. It's something that I really hate about this type of league basketball. Like I'm all for having guys who are 6'6" and 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and because that's good. You're long and you're athletic. They go that phrase again. I love that, but I also hate the fact that then comes a time when you go up against Embiid and you have nobody there, and Embiid can just turn around and shoot over you because you got somebody 6'8" guarding him. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I think they're gonna have good things going on with their defense. They're gonna have good things going on with their offense, and I think it probably does come down to Scotty Barnes, who can he improve and become into a star, maybe even a superstar. Um, their defense is going to be pretty good, and I think that's going to keep them in games. But I just don't know if they're going to have the same success as they did last year. Um, and for me, I think that's going to have to, I think that's going to cost them a whole lot of games. I think that's why they're going to just miss out on the playoffs and be the 11th seed. 12, the New York Knicks. Um, they signed Jalen Brunson. They was looking to get um, the the guy from Utah, um, but they didn't. They didn't get him. Cleveland got him, Donovan Mitchell, and they just didn't. And they just didn't make a lot of other moves that makes it seem like that they're going to be a competitor for the playoffs. And that's why I got these guys outside the playoffs at 12. I just don't think they did enough to suffice the team. And I think, unfortunately, this might be uh, Coach Coach Tibbs last year in New York City. I have 13. I have the Orlando Magic. A lot of young guys there. Some of the guys they got from the Bulls and the Nikola Vucevic shade, like Wendell Carter, I think he's still playing good, and of course they got the number one pick, Paulo Banchero, out there, and then they have a whole bunch of other things. Um, what's his face? The other former first round pick from the Phillies, Markel Fultz. He seemed to have found a home down there in Orlando. So I think it's good, but I think this is a young team that is just there. They need one more piece to get them there. But they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to be 13. Indiana instead of 14. Listen, they said they I think there's there's one more thing they're looking to do, and they're looking to get rid of Miles Turner. And I think whether it's to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook or whether it's someplace else, when that trade happens, they're just going to be down, and they're going to be looking to try to get that guy from France, the 7-for-3 guy who can apparently, you know, play like Chris Paul or somebody for 7-for-3. So it's going to be amazing. But I don't think they have enough to even compete, and that's but they're not going to be the worst team in the East. The worst team in the East is going to be the Washington Wizards, and I think once they start to really lose, they're going to trade Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal will be traded somewhere, um, and they will end up being the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and they'll be fighting for one of those top four picks in the NBA draft come 2023. And that, my friends, is the Eastern Conference. Next, obviously the Western Conference. Okay, so I started later than I wanted to, so let's try to pick up the pace here. So in the Western Conference, I have the LA Clippers. I love the fact that John Wall is there, Kawhi Leonard is coming back. There was a really good team last year without those two. I think now with these two in it, they should be even better. Have them as the number one seed. Number two, the Golden State Warriors. Now people are worried about the whole Draymond Green Jordan Poole situation, where these two bring down this team. I don't think Steve Kerr's going to let it happen. I don't think Steph is going to let it happen. I don't think Clay is going to let that happen. And there might be a possibility where maybe Draymond Green is traded by the trade deadline as well. So we have to wait and see. But I have the Golden State Warriors at 2. 3, I have the Memphis Grizzlies. I think this is a year that maybe John Morant turns into a superstar. He turns into the person that Derrick Rose should have been before his injury. And so I had the Memphis Grizzlies at 3. The New Orleans Pelicans as surprise at 4. I think with Brandon Ingram being a star, CJ McCollum coming down there playing the point, and I think now with Zion Williamson being healthy, and if he stays healthy, and I think this team's going to surprise a lot of teams, and I have them in the 4th spot. The Dallas Mavericks at 5. I mentioned earlier they made a good trade, a great trade for Christian Wood from the Houston Rockets. I think that's going to him and Luka are going to play pick and roll all day, pick and pop, and they're just going to be a fantastic duo. I have the Dallas Mavericks at 5. 6, I have the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns be there. I think they're going to drop down very low this year. DeAndre Ayton hadn't talked to Monty Williams for the entire offseason since Game 7. I hope they have talked since then. Um, but yeah, I think I really like them. Um, but don't like them as enough as I do the other teams to put them ahead of them. So I have them Phoenix Suns at 6. The Los Angeles Lakers at 7. Can it help? Can AD stay healthy? Can LeBron stay healthy? Bron's had injuries ever since he's come to LA. What can Russ and the guy that's just ridiculous. Travis Patrick Beverly can they get along? Will Russ be traded? Would it things like that? A whole bunch of questions for the LA Lakers, but I have them at the 7th spot. The Minnesota Timberwolves at 8. I have those. I think they're going to be back in the playoffs, and they'll be in the play-in game. And I think they've got Rudy Gobert. They're going to have the Twin Towers. We'll see how they plays off. They play together. Maybe how to see like that. Um, yeah, they did lose Patrick Beverly. He's going. They traded him to the Lakers. So we'll see what goes down. But you know, Anthony Edwards is a blooming superstar, and D'Angelo um, whatever. The point guard, I can't think of his last name right now. I'm sorry, I'm old. This happens to when you're old. You forget names. D'Angelo Russell. I think if he steps up and everything like that, I think this could be. I think really they could probably even jump up into the regular playoffs. But right now I have them as the eighth seed. The ninth seed, the Denver Nuggets. Jamal Murray is back. The two-time reigning MVP. Nikola Djokovic is there. So yeah, we Michael Porter Jr. is going to come back. But you never know with him if he's can he stay healthy and things like that. So, but I have them at 9. I have the San Antonio Spurs at 10. I just think Pop is going to try to get this team into the playing game, and that's because I don't like a lot of the other teams afterwards. I don't like the Portland Trail Blazers. I have them at 11. Even with Damian Lillard there, I think they're just going to be a team that just cannot get it done. And I would not be surprised if Damian Lillard gets traded in this offseason, but it's gonna have to be not offseason, but this season, middle of the season. But it's gonna be a tough road to hoe for the Portland Trailblazers. The Sacramento Kings at 12. They last year traded for Devontae Sabonis. You know, can he help this young team get better? We have to wait and see. Oklahoma City 30 at 13. Chet Holmgren is going to be out for the year. That's unfortunate. But I think they're going to have some other things there. And I think that they still going to be in the battle for the top 4 seed without question. So I think that's that. The Houston Rockets are at 14. A young, growing team. Love Jalen Green. I don't think they're going to be too competitive this year. But look, be on the lookout for next year as everything can come together for those Rockets. And then at 15, the Utah Jazz. They've got rid of everybody. They got rid of Mitchell, got rid of Gobert. They traded Bogdanovich to Detroit. The only people they have there is Jordan Clarkson. I think Jordan Clarkson is going to be gone probably pretty soon as well. So Danny Ainge is there, and he's going to do what he did with Boston. And so we're at the wait and see. So I think the Utah Jazz will be the 15th. They'll be the worst team in the league, and they will definitely be in that spot for one of those top 4 picks in the next year's draft. So there you have it, the Western Conference. Now, who's going to play in the Eastern Conference and Western Conference in the finals? Well, I got you there, right there, coming up next. All right, so in the Western Conference Finals, I have Golden State Warriors over the LA Clippers, 4-3. Gonna be a great series. Come down to that Game 7. Best 2 words in sports. Eastern Conference Finals, I got the Sixers going over the Milwaukee Bucks, 4-2. Philadelphia makes it to the NBA Finals for the first time in over 3 decades. The NBA Finals, Golden State over Philadelphia, 4-2. Golden State goes back to back. The Finals MVP once again is Stephen Curry, getting ready to go on God mode for Stephen Curry, excuse me. And so there you have it. The Golden State Warriors will be, in my predictions, the 2022-2023 NBA Finals champions. Now to the awards. Okay, so the awards and predictions for the 2022-2023 NBA season goes like this. The most improved player goes to last year's Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes of the Toronto Raptors. I think he's going to make a big jump, but like I said, it's not going to be enough to get the Toronto Raptors into the playoffs. But Scotty Barnes is going to become a superstar, I think. The most valuable player goes to Joel Embiid of the 76ers. He finally gets that MVP that he's been wanting the last 2 years. He finally gets it this year. Sixth man of the year, I've got 2 picks, because I don't know how they're exactly going to do it in Boston. So my first pick would be Malcolm Brogdon of the Celtics. If they do have him come off the bench, I think he's going to be a big-time player in Boston. Or if he starts, I think it's going to be Jordan Poole of the Warriors. I think he's going to be one of the few guys to average a lot of points. I would not be surprised if he averages 20 points coming off the bench for the Warriors. So just like he did in the playoffs for the most part. Although he did start some, but when he came off the bench, he filled up the bucket, and now he's become just as deadly from 3 pointer as Clay and as Steph has. So if Malcolm Brogdon does not come off the bench, he starts Jordan Poole. But right now, I get Jordan Poole of the Celtics. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm gonna say Rudy Gobert, Minnesota. I think you got to go chalk here, and there's just and even though Marcus Smart won it last year, I think this is gonna go back to Minnesota. Rudy Gobert is gonna be blocking shots left and right in Minnesota. Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go Jaden Ivey of the Pistons. I got the Pistons making it into the playing game. I think he's going to be a big part of that, along with Cade Cunningham. So, and all of the other great guys that they have there in the front court, um, like Marvin Bagley the third, and those guys. I think he's going to be a big help to all of those guys. And the Coach of the Year, hey, the number one seed in the West. Why not? It's Tyronn Lue of the LA Clippers. All right, guys. So there you have it. My 2022-23 NBA preview and predictions episode. There you have it. So if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to this wherever you listen to the podcast, I want to thank you for doing both. And make sure you're here tomorrow for my normal episode of the Game According to Me. It will just be on audio form, not on video form. This audio form is we will recap the weeks this past weekend's games on college and pro. We got a big one to talk about Tennessee and Alabama, and we're gonna also talk about what's happening up in next week's games on college and the NFL season. But yes, if you like this, please on YouTube. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys feel about my predictions. What you guys think? Do you have your own? Post them down in the comment section. Let me know what you are excited about in this 2022-2023 season. And of course, if you are listening to this, wherever you are listening to this podcast, please share and with all your friends on social media and everything like that. Let them know about this podcast. I appreciate it so much if you would do that. All right, guys. Thank you guys again for listening. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.